Hey everyone, I'm Alex. If you're new to this channel, welcome. In this video, I'm going to tell you exactly how to stop overthinking. And the reason I'm making this video is that millions of people are still confused about this. There doesn't seem to be many things that distill the problem down to its root causes and exactly how to address it. So, people are screaming out for solutions because they recognize how much overthinking blocks creativity, prevents you from being decisive, drains your energy, makes you procrastinate, stops you from being present with yourself and other people, and makes you anxious and has you live in stories in your head instead of this reality right here in front of you now. You literally miss out on your own life. So, in this video, I'm going to explain the two root causes and exactly how to address them so you can stop overthinking, stop worrying and feeling anxious, be present with the here and now, which means your creative intuition will arise and you can take effective action off the back of that inspiration and make your dreams come true. So, if you want to stop overthinking, pay close attention to this video. I'm serious when I say, if you pay close attention, this will demystify overthinking for you. Some of the concepts might seem a little new to you at first, and some might sound a little new agey. But I believe, if you keep an open mind and apply this information where required, it will have a powerfully transformative effect on your life. So I'm going to talk about the first root cause and then how to address it. The first root cause of overthinking is what we could call stuck emotions, trauma, or stuck nervous system activity. You might think you don't have trauma, but trauma isn't this big, terrible event that happened to someone. It's what's happening in the body as a result of events. In its less severe manifestation, we may call it anxiety or stuck emotions, but essentially it's on the spectrum of varying degrees of the same symptom. It manifests as physically felt sensations in the body, discomfort in the body, feelings of contraction, density, somatic symptoms, and sometimes even physical symptoms. And on the depressive side, a kind of heaviness or a negative type of emptiness or apathy. In essence, it's how you're feeling, and most people are not aware that it's their feelings fueling their thinking. It's the state of your emotions and nervous system that's influencing the nature of your thinking. And so many people have these stuck emotions or traumas, and they get triggered by relationships, family, health, career, or money issues, or by trying to do anything remotely creative. Think about it. Irony intended. When you're feeling alert, yet very peaceful and calm, your mind is calm too, and you can think clearly and rationally, and you feel more like yourself. When you feel discomfort in the body, edginess or anxiety, you overthink. You go over things in your mind. You don't feel certain about anything. Nothing feels trustworthy, and you're distracted by thoughts about the situation instead of dealing with the situation itself. You seem to have too many options, and so you go over all of them in your mind, and then you're exhausted by thinking too much. There is much truth to the saying, calm body, calm mind. And this stuck emotional or trauma energy in the body often started in childhood. We can overthink things in adulthood because we're still running survival patterns from childhood, from a time when we were only doing the best with the upbringing and conditioning that we had. And we so often inherit the same anxieties as our childhood caregivers and peers, and the same dysregulated nervous system. And this is a big part of what's fueling the overthinking. There's just more fearful, chaotic, indecisive thinking present. And it's being fueled by this state of nervousness or contraction in the body that's either already there or in the background or triggered by situations in life, at work, in relationships, or to do with the health of the body. So when this stuck emotional pain or trauma energy is released, the body moves into a state of calm and your state of thinking changes with it, and the mind activity lessens, and the nature of the thoughts are less disturbed and more peaceful and less personal, and gaps between the thoughts open up through which your creative intuition and inspiration can arise. So now we are aware of the symptoms. What's the solution? The solution is to release the emotional stuckness, release the background anxiety or trauma, and bring the body and nervous system, and therefore the mind, into a state of calm. This will bring the nature of your thoughts with it. The nature of your thoughts will be more peaceful and more rational. You'll be using a calm body and mind to deal with life instead of having your survival system stuck on, a system that evolved to escape being eaten by lions or brutalized by another tribe, but not to deal with your modern day family, health or money situations. You switch off chronic activation of that system. And so how do we do that? Well, there's a few different things you can apply to this, and I'm going to go through a few of them now. You have a few different options that work best in combination to calm the system and come back to your true self. The first thing you can do is anxiety reduction techniques like breathing techniques and other tools to bring the nervous system into a state of calm. In most circumstances, apart from maybe exercise, you want to be breathing through your nose and slowly from the diaphragm. Breathing slowly through the nose will help turn down activation of the sympathetic nervous system, the fight, flight, freeze response, and turn up activation of the parasympathetic nervous system, the body's calming system. But so many people often need some kind of emotional processing that we could call emotional work or shadow work, which done properly is another form of emotional work. And others will benefit from trauma healing methodologies. What we need to do is bring the stuck emotional energy to consciousness and process it. Emotions have an arc to them. They rise and they fall, but many people get stuck along this emotional arc and stay in a state of nervousness, anxiety, or anger, or confusion, or apathy, which fuels overthinking. So when I work together with people one-on-one in my personal coaching, this is something we might do for you if it's applicable to you. Some emotional processing or healing work. This is a guided process that I take people through, but you can do versions of this process yourself too. Watch my video, How to Do Shadow Work on Yourself, for more information on that. But the most important thing is that we're keeping the felt emotions in what's called a window of tolerance. We don't want to be experiencing levels of disturbance or pain that we feel unable to deal with. But if you can keep your feelings within a window of tolerance and increase that window of tolerance by being able to be the loving space for your emotional triggers, you can process all of them in the light of awareness and ultimately release and heal them. Just simply keeping some attention with the felt sense of the body is very powerful. And when you're able to be with what you're feeling, and I mean physically felt sensations in the body, you increase emotional processing and your ability to emotionally regulate. You take your attention away from being completely consumed by thinking and are instead being with what you're feeling. And this enables you to process the feelings and ultimately get unstuck and back to a state of equilibrium and groundedness from where you can take focused, effective action. The second root cause of overthinking is believing that you are the sense of self in the thinking. Now, what do I mean by that? When you're overthinking, there's tons of thoughts, And most of these thoughts have an I in them. They say things like, what do I do? I don't know what to do. There's too many options. What do I need to do? And when you believe that you are that I, that sense of self in the thinking, you believe you are the one thinking those thoughts, that you are the I in the story of I don't know what to do. This is what we could call identification with the thinking mind. It's the belief that you are the sense of self in your thoughts. You see, many of your thoughts aren't useful, right? They're rooted in fear and survival. So believing all of them, especially when there's an emotional disturbance going on or you're emotionally triggered, that can often lead to disaster, right? The truth is, you're way more than just your thinking. You're the one who's aware of your thinking. Take a look at this direct current experience now. Any thoughts you experience appear in this space of awareness, correct? And often your attention gets completely consumed by these thoughts and it feels like you're lost in them, especially when you're emotionally triggered, correct? So an essential part to stopping overthinking is to remember who you are prior to the thinking. Remember that you are the awareness that's aware of the thinking and not the thinking itself. Zoom out from the thinking. See space around the thinking. See the awareness that the thinking appears in and stay here. Another name for this is staying present or being aware of awareness. This is what's happening when we talk about spiritual awakening or an awakening of consciousness. Because what are we talking about waking up from? We're talking about awakening from the dream of thought, from the dream of being completely captivated by the mental stories, and instead staying aware that you are this awareness, this spaciousness in which your whole life unfolds. And when you stay knowingly aware, which is also called being aware of awareness itself, or staying present, the overthinking collapses with it. The overthinking was based on the belief that you're the one in the thoughts doing the thinking. But now you know yourself as more than that. You stay present and remember your true self, this awareness. And when you stay knowingly aware, there are longer gaps in the thinking through which your intuition and inspiration can arise. When the overthinking is present, there's no space for the intuitive leads and inspirations to pop into. But when you create inner stillness by staying present and staying aware that you're aware, the next right action just appears. You don't have to think about it too much. If you're overthinking, you're increasingly more aware that you're listening to the mind activity and some kind of confusion and fear story instead of coming back to yourself and acting on behalf of aware consciousness. Many people discover the awareness behind the mind and discover their true self through various spiritual teachers or sages or gatherings called satsangs, books on this subject, or even YouTube videos. Many of my videos are crafted to guide you into awareness of your true self, aware consciousness. And this is what I also help with people one-on-one who work with me. So that concludes the video for now. I have loads of videos on awakening. Take a look through my channel. For those who want to go deeper and are interested in personal coaching, there's a link in the description to speaktoalex.com. If you go there, you can apply for a free call with me or one of my team to help you and start talking about overcoming your specific challenges. There'll be a short quiz to fill in about what you'd like to work on and the results that you want. I most often work with people to help them overcome fear, overthinking, anxiety, and discover peace and inner freedom. so you can manifest the life you want, because making your dreams come true is so much about releasing and healing and letting go. We tend to think it's about setting strong intentions and working really hard, but that's not the full picture. When you shift the inner, the outer follows, and a big part of shifting the inner is emotional clearing and shifting into your power as aware consciousness. So that's speaktoalex.com if you're interested in that. I'm Alex, but prior to my human identity, I am aware consciousness, as are you. We are one. Peace and blessings from me. Love you all. Peace.